I have 2 cats. I am a fur mother.
That means
Fur
a very different thing where I'm from.
Baby. Means a different what?
Means a very different thing where I'm from.
What does that even mean? It's an internet
like a thing.
Yeah.
A fur mother?
Fur
parent?
Yeah, fur mother.
No.
Yeah, it sounds like a furry thing.
It's very much a
definitely
well-known
furry
thing.
I don't think it is. A fur baby is a different thing from a fur mother.
Fur parent.
Yeah, it's something different.
Wait.
That's a dog mom or a cat mom.
Wait.
Fur parents is a term used to describe people who refer to themselves as parents of their pets.
Why?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
The real crime right now is that we have not seen hunter legs yet.
Maybe I'm thinking
You don't
of a
get to
furry
because you're
mom.
bullying me.
Whoa. I was not bullying you.
I'm being
I was
bullied.
bullying you a little bit.
He was. I deserve to see hunter legs.
No,
I'll close my eyes.
this feels sexist. During Pride Month? Really?
Come on, Tim.
Wally is.
At least let him know.
This is the Always More podcast.
Hello and hello. It is June 19th, and welcome to the Always More podcast, where we believe there is always more room at the table for honest questions, meaningful conversations, and deeper understanding. Today on the pod, we are talking about sexy tennis, French sharks, eternal seasons, single mom who works 2 jobs, the greatest cartoons, and so much more. But first, I'm your host, Tim Lichty, and sitting next to me is my best friend in the whole entire world, Christopher Thomas Ford.
What up, peeps?
Joining us from the land of very little hills, that is our friend Harley Bianco.
Hello.
God.
Was that like a newscaster delay or was that intentional?
That was intentional
'Cause that's
because
like
I've
what-
said time and time again.
I said little. I said few.
Oh.
I didn't say none.
My gosh,
I changed it.
brother, this guy stinks.
That's like one of my favorite things, though, when they're like, what do you think about that, John? Hey, Ray, everything's fine out here. There's like that 3-second delay. I love it.
And then joining us from the land of Wisconsin, cheese and beers, all those great things, it is our friend Justin Johnson.
What's up?
Wisconsin, cheese, and beers.
Like that. That's it, right?
I actually
that's
got invited. Yeah, I was gonna say I actually got invited to a beer, bacon, and cheese festival last weekend.
I can't.
what.
So
The jokes write themselves, man.
it's so accurate.
That's like when I went to Florida and everybody was asking me questions about Texas. They're like, does everybody there have a gun? I'm like, hey, that is a hurtful stereotype. And yes,
I have about 3.
everybody there has at least a gun.
Yeah.
My florist has a gun.
Hey guys, we are back. It's been a while. How's everyone doing?
I've been better.
Well,
I've also been much, much worse, but, better.
we all took a break. If you're listening, you'll know that we skipped a week, which means we haven't released a new episode in about 4 weeks. Is that what it means, I guess?
Roughly.
Yeah, so
Something like that.
but we've had a lot of life changes. Chris moved. We're in a new house for the main like recording studio, if you call it that. And by studio, I mean Chris's
Den.
den.
I have a den now. That's cool.
It is cool. I like dens. Dens and basements are the best.
We also have like a really cool shed workshop area, but Tim doesn't want to record in it.
It's so freaking hot.
I will buy a window
No,
AC
you
unit, bro.
won't. No, you
They're like
won't.
$25 at a pawn shop.
But anyways, we moved
You know,
houses.
I got one you can have.
There you go. Bring it to me.
Just gotta come get it.
No, you got to bring it to me.
Yeah, come on down, buddy.
That way you're here again.
But
Nail it.
we also had Jordan and Tiera's wedding. Congratulations to the newlyweds.
I think this is the first time they have an excuse to not be here.
A real excuse.
Like an actual excuse. Yeah, they got married. It was fun. I had a blast at their wedding, dude.
Yeah, we could have recorded an episode, but we chose not to because we were all
Drunk.
lifing.
I'm just kidding. No, just kidding. Not all drunk at the wedding.
No,
Just Chris.
it was a dry wedding.
Just Chris. No, I was not drunk at the wedding. I was drunk after the wedding.
Yeah. But everyone doing good? Justin, Harley, you all right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
Nothing
good.
but vibes.
I survived.
Oh, did both of y'all say vibes?
No, he said he survived.
Oh, survived.
And she said nothing but vibes.
Okay.
Which, I mean, really is the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just millennials
when I-
and Gen Zers saying the same thing in different lingo.
That's a great point.
Spricken Sie the
Wow.
lingity.
You guys seen that TikTok where it was like the woman was like, millennials say 100% way too much. Like what's the
For
exact
people who have never been 100% sure of anything in their
Yeah.
entire lives, we say, yeah, for sure, 100%, way too much.
Oh man. All right. Well, hey, you guys ready to get the show going?
Let's do it.
All right, y'all. Well, hey, we're back to our normal routine. We're here. We have our first and the best segment, I think, and that is our Rec and Rev. This is a part of the show where we like to recommend and review some things that we watched, heard, listened, smelled, or some kind of intake.
Smelled? Have we smelled? Have we,
I think
Done
Harley or
anything?
Tier has done like a smell in the Always More Her.
like, a scent that they like?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
wrong.
If not, that's going to be my next thing.
Yeah. Chris, what do you got, man?
So mine is this new show that tickles all of my fancies. Under Paris.
Under Paris.
Look, it's got catacombs. It's got slight horror. It's got unknown actors. It's a foreign film technically, so all the dubbing, like it's recorded in French but dubbed to English. And most importantly, it is an awful shark movie. Like, you know, I love my bad shark movies. Sharknado, top tier. Love it. Two-headed shark attack brought me to tears. Three-headed shark attack brought me to my knees. Five-headed shark attack is godly to me. That movie deserves a church. All right?
Jesus.
I love
Five.
bad
headed-
five-headed shark attack. Yes.
You
Three-
and Whitney should have talked about shark movies when we were there. 'cause
Three
she
wasn't
also
super
loves
great.
Shark movies.
Everybody loves shark movies. You just don't realize it.
I don't love shark movies.
Yeah, me neither, Harley.
You haven't seen the right ones. Have you seen Ghost Shark?
I don't want to see any of them.
Ghost Shark is really good. Anyway, so this one is called Under Paris. It is about a shark, which, by the way, in the intro, I think you said something about French sharks. The shark is not French.
Excuse me.
It makes its way to France, which is a weird thing. So it's about a mako shark that, due to the plastics and all of the runoff and everything in that continent-sized plastic floating thing in the Pacific Ocean,
Yeah.
so that mutated these sharks. So this mako shark grows to be like 10 times bigger than it should be.
Okay.
It starts reproducing asexually.
Okay.
And it reproduces hella fast. So, like, it has a baby, and before that baby is 2 months old, it's pregnant.
Oh.
So it becomes this whole new species of shark. But it somehow makes its way to the Seine in Paris, which is like one of the dirtiest rivers in the world. It's gross. But it makes its way into the Seine, and then from there makes its way into the catacombs under France, which is where that name comes from, Under Paris. But they're tracking the shark during like this massive marathon or triathlon that happens in France where they swim through the Seine.
Oh, of course.
So hundreds of people are dying. It's so great. This girl believes that she can communicate with the shark.
Oh.
So she goes under the catacombs to swim with the shark, and it goes well for a bit. And then it does not go well. It's a pretty great shark movie, man. People just dying left and right.
Harley looks like she can't wait to watch it.
I think I'm getting a headache behind my eyes.
Harley's,
Not from you telling me about this film, but I just think
it
it's
just so
happening.
happens that it's that way. Yeah, Harley is never gonna watch this movie, and it's
no,
hurtful,
because
but
there's
it's fine.
so many holes in this
I know.
already.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So it's definitely like a fantasy film
I don't know. I wouldn't say fantasy.
because there's no way a shark could live
False.
near that plastic. Hey, you didn't let me finish.
I know
near
exactly what you're saying.
that plastic island and mutate to become 10 times bigger. Anything, it would die because there's nothing to eat.
That's also wrong. They address that in the movie. Whales get caught in that plastic all the time.
Okay, despite
And how do
popular
they
belief,
mutate?
It's not like a huge island of trash. It's a huge amount of trash located in a large area, but it's not like this one huge one actual piece of garbage
No, it's like a bunch of floating garbage.
spread out.
Yes, there's like nets and plastic and stuff just like floating all over, but it's like
Like, you can
it's
swim
pretty,
between the trash is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like,
and
it's not like one
they
piece
do.
of trash.
No, they do in the movie. Like they swim, like they go under it and pop up in random spots, and then they dive back down, and they're like under it and like weaving in and out. And there's animals like in the thing, but they're also like swimming around it. But whales are getting caught there, and that's what the sharks eat.
Okay.
So the sharks are like following this island, just eating all the stuff that gets caught in the island.
Justin, I think it's your turn.
Solid movie. A bunch of unknown actors. One of the girls, one of the main women characters, I say girl because she's young, but she's actually probably like 18, 19, 20 in the movie. She could be a dead ringer for York in One Piece, if you guys are following One Piece.
Well, all right. Justin.
Sorry, I was just looking at the cat just creeping up on you.
Yeah.
That's my other cat, Tessie. Messy
Yeah.
Tessie.
Ese Bobese.
I think
My
she's trying to get to me.
recommendation is Fargo
Ooh.
TV show.
I've heard really good things about Fargo. I've not watched it myself.
Have you watched the movie?
I will also say yes, the movie is great,
Yeah.
which is why I went out of my way to watch the TV show. I watched the first episode of Fargo. I want to say during COVID, and I loved it. And then I never went back to it until like 3 weeks ago.
Fair. Like, we all started something we didn't
But
finish.
see, that
during
sounds like COVID.
Yeah, when did the first season of Fargo come out? Oh wow, 2014. It may have been.
I was
going
going
to
to say like 2011.
Yeah, it came out a long time ago, and I watched it a long time ago. I think when I watched it, there were only like 2 or 3 seasons out, and now there's 5. It is a phenomenal show. Like, it is top tier. It is ridiculous. Like, my girlfriend watched 2 episodes with me, just because she was in the room, and she was so confused because it's like every character acts so serious when they are the dumbest. Just like I've never seen someone play a dumb character so well. Like they are just genuinely believable,
Yeah.
and it's great. Like it's funny, it's dramatic. I don't know. It's just top notch. It's critically acclaimed for a reason.
Yeah, I want to check it out. Like I've been.
Yeah,
How many seasons on now? 4?
5.
5. Yeah, I want to check it out. Yeah, the movie's fantastic.
That might be something I get into after the zombie apocalypse starts.
Yeah. In other words, he's not going to watch it.
Here's the thing. No. Check it out. So, when the zombie apocalypse happens, because it's coming, predicted in the Bible,
Oh my God.
it's in there. If you don't believe me,
Please don't get him started, Justin.
What if I
don't
Just let it
believe
go.
in the
Just let it go.
Bible?
you don't have to believe in the Bible. It's also predicted by science. But when the zombie apocalypse happens, we are going to have a lot more free time. Like, I don't think you people realize how much free
You
time.
people.
Yes, you people.
What do you mean? You people.
The people that aren't me. You people.
It's a quote from Tropic
I understand. From the dude playing the dude pretending to be another dude. I get it. But I don't think y'all realize how much free time people had before the 40-hour work week.
I'll believe that.
Like, back in the Middle Ages, like, we always think they're constantly toiling, but that was just during, like, planting season and harvest season. Like, in between that, they had a lot of free time.
I'm learning about it in art history.
There you go. Like, castles were freaking massive.
Yeah.
They just kept adding on to them because they had nothing else to do but spend their time building castles. Like, they could have done anything. So when the zombie apocalypse happens and we no longer have to worry about capitalism, sure, we're going to have to worry about surviving and, like, planting and harvesting and stuff. But we're also going to have a lot of free time because, like, you go outside, you plant a few seeds, and then what? You water them for, like, 20 minutes a day? And then what are you doing while you're waiting? You're just waiting. That's it. You're going to have a lot of free time for shows and activities.
I feel like Chris is forgetting the whole element of survival.
Here's the thing. You're thinking like Walking Dead where they are constantly fighting off zombies.
But they're just showing the
No,
highlights.
but that's because in Walking Dead, they're just going places where the zombies are. If you go somewhere, clear that area, stay away from large cities, you will be fine if you're growing your own food. You don't have to go to where the zombies are.
But what if there's people who are going to these places that you're describing to escape the zombies? So then you're also fighting off people.
I mean, you'll have your
survive.
every now and then zombie for sure, and you'll have your every now and then fight. But think about your life, Harley. If you were fighting for survival, would you constantly be attacking the same place?
No, see, the difference is I wouldn't be fighting for survival. I would kill myself.
No.
And that's
I'm
the
not going to
difference-
survive.
That's
as
another
a
difference
woman.
between Gen Z and millennials.
As a woman,
Because millennials are like, oh, this is how I would survive a zombie apocalypse. And Gen Z is just like, nah, I just straight
Nah.
up die.
because what's
bump
the
that.
point?
Like, I don't want to live through that.
Though I will say, Harley, out of all of us on this episode, you probably would have the greater chance of survival being in Kansas.
Because there's nothing
There's
there.
nothing up there.
There's no people. You got like
Yeah,
4
I am-
people in the whole state, and 3 of them are you.
3 of them? That's crazy.
You, Hunter, and Hunter's mom.
Okay, sorry. One question about the zombie apocalypse before we head on.
Isaiah 26:19.
No, that's not what I'm asking. I knew you were gonna go there. Stop. How are you gonna watch your shows? Like, where's the infrastructure for that?
Why'd you do this, Justin?
See? I understand. Fargo, however, is one that does have a 5-season DVD release. I understand that I have to get the DVDs somehow.
You won't have my server anymore.
Yeah, I know. Once the internet goes down, that's it. That's game over. So first things first, once the zombie apocalypse kicks off, I am going to download so many pirated shows and movies. Until the internet crashes, that's all I'm doing.
What about electricity?
I'm queuing up. Oh, solar. I'm not worried about that. I mean, I don't have solar, but one of my neighbors does.
I was going to say, you live off that Texas power grid. Good luck.
Yeah.
Great point.
It's going down. Look, it's going down
We're going
before
down
the
first.
people do. Before the zombies even hit Texas, the power grid's going out.
In fact, it's probably a sign. All right, Harley, we got to move on. What do you have for us?
I have Reba.
Reba.
So they released,
It's an oldie but a
Release.
goodie.
they put all of the seasons of it on Netflix. And so I've just been watching it. 22-minute episodes. Miss the good old sitcoms where I could actually, my attention span could withstand watching something.
Where you can sit and calm.
Yeah. And then,
Lady.
oh, gross. I just understood what you said.
Comedy is what I said.
Okay. Anyways, the synopsis that is Reba is it's set in Houston, Texas. It's about a middle-aged, wisecracking Reba Hart, aka Reba McEntire, plays the character, whose life is thrown upside down when she finds out her husband of 20 years, Brock, has decided to divorce her after getting his dental hygienist, Barbara Jean, I cannot English today, who's half Reba's age, pregnant.
Oh.
And then Reba's life is thrown into a further whirlwind when her 17-year-old daughter, Cheyenne, also falls pregnant by her high school boyfriend, Van.
Oh, my God.
With all of the new chaos and dysfunction in her life, Reba attempts to get through her day with her preteen daughter, Kira, and 8-year-old son, Jake.
What a story.
Van.
What a whirlwind.
But
His name is
It is-
Van.
Van Montgomery.
Like Van Buren.
Van Wilder. No, Van Buren was his last name.
Still a name.
Martin Van Buren. That's like Van Helsing
What does that actually mean, though?
or Lorenzo von Matterhorn.
Lorenzo von Matter. That's his last name.
Like a last name is fine. As a first name, Van.
Mhm.
Like I know it's short for something. What would it be short for?
I don't think it is short for anything.
Mm.
At least not in Reba.
Van is a
Van-
gender-neutral baby name of
It's not
British
gender-neutral.
origin. If you're raising baby near big boglands or serene swamps, you may love the meaning of this baby name, most commonly derived from the British surname Vance, meaning...
Vance.
I know that.
Yeah. No, I'm like nodding like Vance. Yeah. I'm not saying you pronounce it wrong.
Meaning marshland. So there you go.
It means marshland.
Or
Name your
marsh.
baby after a swamp.
That's like I think Vance is
Yeah.
short for Marshall.
No.
What?
Marshall is like marshland as well, isn't it?
I don't think so, buddy.
Well,
So, okay. Anyways, it's really good. It's just nice to put on and then just like watch a little bit of, and
oh
then I'm
no, I was
satisfied.
way off.
Yeah. Is it like one of those shows that like is it a feel good, or is it just, it actually is kind of had like serious moments, like what is it?
It's a
The Fresh Prince.
it's a sitcom that has its moments.
Yeah, it has like some serious moments that kind of touch on real things. And then it's also just like feel good at the same time.
I'm gonna be
And
honest.
there's a
with
lot
you
of
guys.
laugh tracks.
I've watched Reba previously, like as a younger person, and it is the white people's Fresh Prince.
Wow.
You probably equate that, yeah.
All right.
Interesting.
It's good. That's a solid recommendation, Harley.
Where are you going with that, buddy?
That's it. I like it. I watched it.
Okay.
It's a good show.
I mean, comparing it to Fresh Prince should never be a bad thing.
No.
I don't think it's nearly on the same level
no,
as
it's
Fresh
absolutely
Prince.
not. It's
I
definitely
think Fresh
not.
Prince touched on a lot of deeper topics, but
Fresh Prince was such a good show that it hit me decades later. And we, as a friend group, will talk about that, but I don't want to get into that with the podcast listeners. So let's move on.
All right.
valid. So
Very-
that was my rec.
Very
Tim, what
good.
is yours?
Mine, I will finish this up with a movie that just recently came out called Challengers. Have you all heard of this?
I've heard of it.
Yes.
Yes,
I don't like
the
it.
tennis movie.
Yeah. You
I
said you
haven't
don't
watched
like it?
I don't like. Look, and you tell us about it, and then I'll tell you why I don't like it.
Okay. Tennis player turned coach Tashi has taken her husband, Art, and transformed him into a world-famous Grand Slam champion. To jolt him out of his recent losing streak, she signs him up for a challenger event, close to the lowest level of pro tournament, where he finds himself standing across the net from his former best friend and Tashi's former boyfriend. Zendaya, Mike Feist, and Josh O'Connor. It's directed by Luca I can't pronounce that. Guadiano. He directed Call Me by Your Name, Bones and All, Suspiria. Anyways, it's great. It's a fantastic movie. It is definitely they did a really good job of kind of like it goes back and forth in time, like between like the past and the present, just like a tennis match. Like you're going back and forth. But the suspense is great, and I truly hated Zendaya's character, but like that just because they did it so well. But she was fantastic, and the whole cast was amazing, and the cinematography was incredible, and so I highly recommend it. And if you're a tennis fan, I think you'll enjoy it.
All right, so here's the thing. I like tennis. Played tennis in high school. I was really good. I have several trophies. As you all know, I had a weird thing when my parents first got divorced where, like, I disassociated from life, and I had this other life that I was living every time I fell asleep. I had a continual dream that just felt like a regular life. In that life,
Oh, right.
Zendaya was my sister. Like, not famous Zendaya, just I had a sister and she looked like Zendaya. But every time I see something in reality about Zendaya, like my mind won't let it go that she's my sister. So when people are like, "Oh, Zendaya's so hot," I'm like, "I'll fucking kill you, man." That is my sister you're talking about. So understanding that Challengers involves a weird scene with her and two dudes,
Yeah.
I'm just like, no, that's not okay. That is my sister.
Well, it does a great job because it is a love triangle, but she is the center focus of it all. Like, yes, the guys like her, but she is the one, like, dance puppet kind of thing. And so in that manner, it's very intriguing, but it's also at the same time, she is just not a great human being in the movie, at least in my perception of it, but it's still fantastic.
That's so like my sister.
Jesus. All right. Anything else to say before we move on, guys?
No.
No? All right. Let's move this show along. Chris, are you ready to help me out with this?
I suppose I am.
All right, guys. It is time for
What Did I Miss?
This is the part of the show where we like to present to you some news that you probably didn't hear about. I'm going to get this one started off with, and I'm going to try to read this quickly. Lee Wainscott's life took a surprising twist in October 2004 when John, a charming newcomer, appeared at her church. Recently divorced after a 20-year marriage and juggling life as a single mom, Lee was drawn to John's humor, sensitivity, and generosity. Their dates at Red Lobster and cozy movie nights at her home were filled with laughter, and he showered her children with new toys. Even the church pastor was impressed by John's down-to-earth nature and his record-breaking donations to the church toy drive. Little did anyone know, John was actually Jeffrey Manchester, an escaped convict in hiding in plain sight.
Smart.
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey. Jeffrey Allen Manchester, born in 1971, seemed to have a promising future. He served in the military with the 82nd Airborne Division, mastering skills like rappelling and handling weapons. However, after a domestic disturbance and subsequent divorce in 1999, Manchester embarked on a new career as the roof man. After over 7 months, he robbed over 40 McDonald's restaurants by drilling through their roofs and dropping down to conduct polite holdups. His courteous approach, like asking employees to please get on the floor, earned him a unique reputation. But it all ended when his luck ran out during a robbery in North Carolina in 2000, leading to a 45-year prison sentence. So the next chapter was nothing short of a comedy of errors. Escaping from prison in 2004 by clinging to the underside of a delivery truck, he set up a secret lair in a Toys R Us in Charlotte. There, he found everything he needed: baby food, bikes for exercise, and remote-controlled cars for entertainment. He ingeniously used baby monitors to keep tabs on the store employees and decorated a space in a vacant Circuit City with the Spider-Man sheets, Superman posters, and toy models of Yoda. His preteen dream hideout even included a smoke detector and a fire extinguisher to prevent accidental discovery. For months, Manchester lived undetected, even blending into the local community. He attended a nearby church where he met Wainscott and contributed to Bible study groups. Manchester's brazen confidence led him to frequent local gyms and even visit the dentist, gifting his pastor with DVDs of Seinfeld. His escapades took another comedic turn when he altered employee schedules at Toys R Us to roam freely, only to botch a robbery attempt after Christmas, leading to his hideout's discovery by a sharp-eyed police officer. The fingerprint evidence and subsequent news broadcasts unraveled his elaborate charade. Despite his arrest, Manchester's antics have left a lasting impression. His story is being turned into a movie starring Channing Tatum, capturing the bizarre blend of crime and comedy. While Manchester's escapes had a Robin Hood-like flair, his actions left a trail of deceit and trauma. Abandoning his children and deceiving everyone around him, he crafted a double life that was as tragic as it was absurd. So, yeah.
That does sound like a movie. That's kind of wild.
He was
Wonder how long the
living my
movie's been
dream.
out.
I think they're like still making it. Like they're hold on, let me see.
He was living my dream. I've always wanted to live.
Oh, it's
in
being
Toys R Us.
turned into.
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
being turned into.
I've always wanted to live in a Toys R Us since I was but a lad.
He was living a dream.
Yeah, absolutely.
The big
Changing
giraffe.
employee schedules, that part is wild to me.
The what?
That's pretty
Changing,
dope.
changing employee schedules. It's like I wonder. It's like maybe he had like one. He's like, oh, that one's cute. I'm gonna make sure I give her the weekend off so she can enjoy her life. Or something like
I don't think that was it. I think it was more like I'm going to want to leave my hiding spot around 6 tomorrow. So let's make sure that there's only one employee working from 5 to 7.
No, for sure. But like, I mean, you got to get a little perks out of it too.
Right.
I also want to make sure that Stephanie gets all the hours she wants.
Schedule the guy who always leaves his lunch behind.
There you go.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, Chris, you're next, man.
All right, so mine, I don't know if you guys have been following this.
And you have 6 minutes, bud.
That's fine. I'm not even going to read anything. I'm just going to talk about it. So we'll see how this goes. The one that got my interest was Charlotte the Stingray. Have you guys heard about this?
No, F Stingrays.
All right, first of all,
They killed my man Steve.
first of all, Steve Irwin.
On my birthday.
Steve Irwin would have forgiven them. You know he would have.
I know.
Like when that stingray died and made it to heaven, Steve was like, "It's not your fault. It's okay. These things happen. I should have been more careful around you, you beauty." Steve Irwin doesn't care. He forgave her.
Not wrong.
The second it happened, he forgave it.
He's not wrong.
Anyways,
Well, I don't forgive them.
I'm not Steve Irwin.
he was the best of us. Anyways, so there's a stingray in North Carolina named Charlotte who was...
Wait. In North Carolina?
Yes.
Oh
Because
my
of the
God.
city?
Do you think
Probably.
Jeffrey knows a stingray?
Jeffrey knows the stingray.
Maybe. Who knows? Anyways, so this stingray became pregnant, which would be pretty cool because, stingray pregnancy is dope.
Oh! I think I know
However,
what you're talking about.
yeah, you probably do. However, there were no male stingrays around.
Oh, you're talking about like in an aquarium?
Yes.
Okay, I don't think you specified that.
Oh, sorry, in an aquarium
Okay.
in North Carolina.
Like, sure, it's the
So
ocean.
there were no male stingrays around. So there were two options that people were tracking. Either one, she was impregnated by a shark, which weirdly enough have close enough genetics to impregnate one another. Like a stingray could theoretically impregnate a shark and vice versa, just like tigers and lions
Yeah.
can make a liger.
What?
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
The DNA is close enough that it could happen.
Wait, are you not aware that ligers are real?
No, not ligers. I'm talking
Oh,
about stingray
okay,
and the shark.
Well, ligers are bred for their skills in magic, so. Anyways,
Exactly.
yeah, so stingrays and it's certain stingrays and certain sharks share enough DNA that it's possible, not probable. Like humans and Neanderthals. Like it theoretically could be done, but it didn't happen a lot. However, that was option one because there were male sharks in the tank and there were no male stingrays. Option two, though, is a process called parthenogenesis where you basically reproduce asexually. Or you are holding on, as a female animal, holding on to the sperm for like a long time, and then you use it when you want. Like, it's a weird situation.
Like a sperm bank.
That's a fun trick.
But like a
Yeah.
sperm bank you carry with you. Like, I just got this sperm in case I decide to get pregnant one day, I keep it in my purse.
My purse?
Basically. So scientists, kind of figured, yeah, it's probably parthenogenesis. That's the more likely of the situation because she wasn't the right type of stingray and they weren't the right types of sharks. Still possible, but not probable. So they figured she reproduced asexually and she was pregnant. But then she got pregnant for a long time. And people are like, well, maybe it was the sharks because stingray pregnancies only last, I think, like 3 months tops. And shark pregnancies can last anywhere from 9 to like 26 months. So they're like, oh, well, maybe it was a shark.
Ooh.
Come to find out, a slightly disappointing ending to the story. She actually has a reproductive disease.
Mhm.
So all the
Oh.
sonograms and everything show the babies, but they have passed since. She's not having baby Jesus stingray. It's not just like an immaculate conception. It's kind of a big bummer. But for a really long time, it gave a lot of millennials hope. We just wanted something to distract us from this hellscape we call America.
So was it asexual reproduction or
So again, we don't really know for sure, but
they
that's
couldn't have
probably
tested the babies at all?
I mean, no, not from what I understand. So hold on. Let's see. While the timeline has been fuzzy, the team has pointed out that the specific breed of ray has not been historically known for parthenogenesis. Speculation of disease being the true culprit of her condition as opposed to pregnancy soon abound. Blah, blah, blah. Charlotte has developed a rare reproductive disease that has negatively impacted her reproductive system. Findings are truly a sad and unexpected medical development.
Well, it is sad.
And it's not a very well-known disease either.
Way to dampen the mood, dude.
So she was pregnant.
She was pregnant.
Yeah.
But the babies will not be
But what actually caused the
Stingray
pregnancy?
Jesus.
Exactly. We not know
no,
that?
And that's the thing. We still don't know.
All right. Justin, you're up next, my friend.
Yes. Okay. So for my thing, I was gonna talk about nothing significant, not as dramatic as stingrays or
Stingray
sorry, I'm
Jesus.
grabbing the wrong computer mic. People hiding in Toys R Us. So y'all are familiar with a big bank called Wells Fargo. By the way, never bank with Wells Fargo. They are the worst.
Yeah, they suck.
Most banks are.
They really suck. No, Wells
No.
Fargo's like
They are top tier worst. I would
they
rather
were opening accounts in people's names once they got your social and stuff, just because they got bonuses every time they opened that particular type of account. But it's a detriment to you, your credit, and your money.
Yeah, sounds right.
I think Bank of America was doing stuff like that too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bank of America is also bad. I bank with Chase because they are the least shitty of the shitty options.
I
But,
bank with USAA and Bank of America, but only because Bank of America also has banks in Honduras.
That's fair. So Wells
Navy
Fargo.
Fed.
Oh yeah, you guys and your fancy military connections. I'm not connected enough to do that. Close, but no cigar. Anyways, so yeah, Wells Fargo just fired a bunch of people for things they considered unethical, because
Are you saying that in
Well,
quotes?
Oh no, they consider it unethical.
Unethical.
It's funny though because it's Wells Fargo. So they fired people who basically they accused them of manipulating what was it called? Keyboard manipulation, I believe is how they put it, to make it appear that they were more active than they were. Sorry, simulation of keyboard activity is how they put it.
Oh my gosh.
But their statement they put out, they said, Wells Fargo holds employees to the highest standards and does not tolerate unethical behavior,
Oh my god.
which
Oh
is
my god.
hilarious to me, as it is Wells Fargo.
That's super
And
BS.
all of my experiences with them have been unethical.
You ever just think about, like, this is kind of on the same point, but, like, the CEO of Wells Fargo will earn more by 3:00 p.m. on January 1st of the new year. He will earn more in that amount of time than a very large percentage of his employees will in their entire, like, year.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
I mean, that's like the CEO of every bank, but yes.
Yeah, that's hot.
She's
that's hot
fighting
garbage.
back.
What is that one?
Many.
I think she's a representative. Man, what is her name? Where she like has a whiteboard and she like attacks CEOs of companies.
Oh
The-
yeah, I've seen her videos.
Where she did that to the CEO. I think it was actually Chase Bank.
Yeah, let's Chase.
Where she was like, so your lowest earning employee makes a deficit of $3,000,
Yeah.
assuming she doesn't have a car payment. Like, her bills are the bare minimum. She still lives on a deficit of $3,000 a year. How would you suggest she budget? He was like, oh, I'll have to think about that. She's like, you have to think about how to budget
Right.
a deficit? It's like, well, I don't have the figures in front of me. I'm giving you the figures. You should be really good with numbers. You're the CEO
Obviously,
of a
you
bank.
got to work a second job.
Yeah.
Jeez. Rich people. Oh.
And there's my weekly, or I guess monthly at this point, dig at capitalism.
What irony, my friend. What irony. Harley.
Not slay.
You're next. You Gen Zer.
Mwahaha. Okay. First, happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month.
Woo!
Happy Pride, everybody.
For the gays.
Happy first
Okay.
deadly sin.
It's to you, Harley. You're the only one in this room. Happy. I hope you're having a great Pride Month.
Thanks. This is not great for Pride Month.
Oh no.
That's a bummer.
Why you gotta bring us down at the end?
First
So-
stingrays and now a downer on Pride Month.
Well, it's just I use the term silly in a loose way because old people.
Oh.
So Pope Francis uses anti-gay slur again.
Oh man.
Again?
Again.
This
Again.
is not the
I
first
saw
time.
this.
Yeah, this
Oh,
is not the
gosh.
first time
Okay.
it's happened.
So the first part of this article literally says, "Oops, he did it again."
And if that ain't the gayest way to say this,
Weeks after apologizing for using an Italian word, which I'm not going to say what it translates to, but it's
I
the
think
F
you
slur.
get it.
Yeah, I think we connect the dots here.
It's the F slur. Roughly translates to that. Pope Francis reportedly used the same term again in a
Gosh.
closed door meeting with Roman priests on Tuesday, right in the middle of Pride Month. So this was 2 days ago.
You know, it's one of those things where it's like he's spoken enough and he has done things that are progressive in terms of the Catholic Church and how they have treated LGBTQ members. However, like it's just wild because like you're doing so good, buddy. You're getting there. And it's like, oh
Yeah.
just
So I don't know how I feel about this because like I know it's bad for sure. You don't want to do or say things like that, but is like I look at it like he's just an old guy and that's how he grew up. And while it is wrong to say that, he doesn't mean anything by it. That's just what he knows to call them. Like I have an uncle that still calls anyone of Asian culture chinos, which in Spanish is Chinese. Obviously, they're not all Chinese, and he doesn't like hate them. He's not mean to them. He doesn't do anything negatively. That's just the word he knows for the Chinese people.
However, this is his second time saying this in a short period of time.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I know it's again wrong. Maybe it's like he just didn't process his thoughts fast enough to change it
It's true.
as
he
he
is
was
old.
speaking. I'm not trying to give him a pass. I'm just like, I don't know. Like, he's done a lot of good. Do we let it slide or do we
wouldn't-
try to crucify
That-
and cancel
That
him?
is an interesting perspective because it reminds me of a friend of mine. He's a black guy living in the middle of nowhere, Illinois. Like
Sure.
no trash service, no snow removal, like shoots guns off of his porch, you know. And he was talking about how he was at Walmart and this guy called him a light-skinned N-word
Oh.
and then asked him which one was white, his mama or his daddy. And the guy wasn't malicious.
Like,
guy
some
was
people just
just
genuinely
old.
don't know.
And it's just like, he said he was so dumbfounded that he didn't know how to respond because it was like, it wasn't like a hostile use of the N word. It was definitely out of pocket. and
Yeah.
very, very like invasive, you know,
Yeah.
like which one was white, your mama or your daddy? Neither. He's just light skinned. But,
Or like,
you know, it's like clearly just an old guy, just being an old guy. And it was like, yeah, so it is. I understand the whole like, oh yeah, no, that's so out of pocket and that's so wrong. But also, like, is it just because you're old and you don't know?
Right.
I don't know. I don't follow the Pope well enough. I
yeah.
don't follow the Pope
And
at all.
I
I
don't
don't
know enough
know
about the
anything
Pope.
about it.
Well, like he's,
But
he isn't he the one that actually like he's I don't know if it's allowed. Is it priest or something like? How was it? No, he allowed marriage, didn't he? Didn't he allow? Now I can't remember. I know he's done something, but I guess we should be asking Harley, the only person in the room that is actually LGBTQ. Like, what do you think?
Well, let me finish this article
Okay.
and then we can talk about more because I think it will give more context.
please do.
So, he said his quote was, "There is an air of the slur in the Vatican."
An error of?
So it's the F slur with tree on the end. Does that make sense?
I'm
Tree?
tracking. I'm tracking.
Yes.
Like there's
Okay.
an era of
TRY.
tree.
Yes. My brain went
Yes.
tree,
Oh.
Groot, tree.
TRY.
There's an era of I am Groot.
You said PRY?
TRY.
Oh, okay.
F slur
Oh, okay.
TRY.
Okay.
So I guess the word just ends in RY.
Yeah.
So he's saying there's an air of in the Vatican,
Hmm.
which wild statement.
Yeah.
According to Italian news agency ANSA, I'm not going to try and pronounce the what the acronym means, but it's ANSA, which cited sources present at the meeting of the Cilician Pontifical University in Rome. Francis had used the controversial term during a closed-door discussion with Italian bishops last month, during which he also repeated his stance against the church permitting openly gay men to become priests.
Mm.
So he's saying this on top of being like, no homos as priests. Not gonna happen.
So
the Vatican-
less of the old man thing, probably more of the
Yeah.
like
Religious stance.
yeah.
He is old. So it says the Vatican press office issued a news bulletin summarizing the latest hour-and-a-half meeting with around 160 priests, which crazy. According to the bulletin and ANSA's reporting, the 87-year-old pontiff. So the Pope is 87 years old.
Yeah.
He's,
He's almost old enough to run for president.
Bravo.
but so he's really old.
Yeah.
So like that's also where the thing, and this is like an ongoing historical debate in history in general.
Yeah.
Things back then, whether we should like really be, adamant on hating it because of what happened. But it's also the excuse of they didn't know any better, blah, blah, blah. My problem is somebody knew better.
Right. Well, it's very a gray area because I think there's multiple factors. One, intention. What is the intention of this sentence? Number
Mhm.
two, is there a willingness to change and to learn?
Yeah.
And, obviously when you get older, it is harder to change and to learn. But it's not impossible. There are people who are capable, and we've seen it, people that are older, to change their minds about things and realize, oh, I'm so sorry. Let me change how I say things. It's not just a young man's thing to do that.
Is
Yeah.
it also like somebody told him, hey, we don't say that. That's a bad thing to say. That's the negative version of
Yeah.
homosexuality. And in his mind, he's like, oh, so when it's bad, you say that. So like these male priests that are raping little boys, he just called it that. Like, is that a thing?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I think that, it ultimately shakes out to, like, no matter what, it's like, that's still like a bad look and a bad
Yeah, for sure.
thing. Like, I hate to say bad look because I feel like that kind of undermines it. I should rephrase that.
The Catholics do that enough for the
Yeah.
rest of them.
You don't have to worry about that if it's
True.
already damaged enough.
Yeah. But like, yeah, no, and it is interesting because like as far as popes go, he has been more progressive to like see that coming. It's like, okay. But then I guess you got to remember the context of more
Yeah.
progressive from that far right does not
It-
necessarily
It's
mean
the Overton window
progressive.
argument.
Yeah.
It mentions that while he has regarded to have ushered in a new era of acceptance and inclusion by including, which includes allowing same-sex couples to be blessed by priests, he has steadfastly resisted approving gay clergymen or same-sex marriage.
Okay, that's what it was.
So like,
yeah. It's like, kind of, sort of, nada. Yeah.
yeah.
That's the argument in evangelical Christianity. Like, it's still a sin, but I love you.
Yeah.
My problem is, it says the Vatican Press Office Director Matteo Bruni issued a statement in late May, so this was the first instance in which it happened, after Francis's first use of the derogatory word, that said the Pope never intended to offend or express himself in homophobic terms and apologizes to those who felt offended. And then did it again in June.
Right.
But again, that's what I'm saying, though. Maybe he just, like, it's hard for old people to change.
But he's been Pope how many years?
I've explained it to my family,
Yeah.
like, for a long time. Like, you can't just say chinos for everybody. There's Chinese, Koreans, Japanese, Laos. Like, there's all kinds of different places you could be from and be Asian. Like,
Yeah.
it's one of the biggest continents out there.
But then again, your uncle is a regular everyday person. This is the Pope.
Yeah, also true. You have to be held to a higher standard when you have that kind of office.
Position, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's just very interesting.
It is.
But he is old. He is, you know,
Well,
who knows how long he's been set in his, not set in his ways, but like, this is the way things have been for so
Right.
long.
Well, then it's
That
also,
word was allowed for probably so long.
right. Well, it's also a question of, too, like, how much do you excuse old age in this time and age? It's not like,
Yeah.
this is in the 1830s. Like, the big, huge movements of LGBTQ happened in the 60s and 70s and 80s. Like, this is not brand new.
Right.
Absolutely. And
and-
he was alive during all of it.
Exactly. And so, yeah, it's a mixed bag.
Just crazy.
It is. Well, shall we move along?
Thanks, Francis.
Thanks, Pope.
Yeah, do it.
It's also, what's even funnier to me is that at least, who was it? Hold on. I can't remember if it was like just a person who was, because it was a closed door discussion with Italian bishops. Who outed the Pope?
That's
One
a
of-
great point.
Probably one of the bishops that wants to be the next pope
Oh,
Mm.
that's a
and
great point.
thinks that being
Mm.
politically correct is the best way to go about
Well,
that.
look at you, buddy.
But not being a good person.
Conspiracy over here.
I mean,
Power over everything, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Wild.
Like he knows that we're going to become the biggest religion by offending the least amount of people.
Hmm.
And like the people that are staunch Catholics are always going to be Catholics. So you can push the bounds with them a little bit. But if you want to draw the young people in, you have to abide by their rules.
Hmm.
He understands that, and he's swinging for Pope after Francis dies. That's what I think.
It's a great theory, Chris.
Got a lot of
believe it.
those. I got a lot of those.
All right, guys. Well, on that note, we are going to take a quick break here, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're going to talk about the greatest and the most fantastic cartoons to ever exist. We'll be right back. All right, everyone. We are back to talk about some cartoons. I feel like we've actually done an episode about this, and I'm just now remembering it.
You know what I'm just now remembering, like, as we're having this conversation? There's a song when we were kids that played on K-Love all the time by some
mentioned
Christian
that.
artist. I don't know
Chris
who.
Rice.
Yes!
Chris Rice,
Yes!
Yes, I mentioned that in the chat earlier.
Oh, did
Yeah.
you
I don't know
really?
if you guys caught that.
No!
I didn't see it earlier.
I didn't see it.
I
Oh,
was thinking the other day, what if cartoons got saved? They'd start singing praise.
A whole new way. Yes.
The one that always got me. Scooby Dooby Doo ya.
Oh my gosh. Harley, is this like anywhere on your radar?
Ask
No.
Hunter. Ask Hunter. He would know.
Oh, that's a
But
great question.
he wouldn't think it was a Christian song though. He's like, what? Everybody didn't know this song?
Oh man,
Who's Chris Rice?
he was like a contemporary Christian singer back in the days of
Not super
When contemporary
successful,
Chris-
but like up there.
yeah, like when contemporary Christian music existed, because it doesn't anymore.
Nah.
Mm.
No, like not Michael Smith level, but you know,
Michael
he's-
W. Smith, you put some
Michael
respect on that man's
yeah,
name.
that's weird. That's weird.
You put some respect on that man's name. Michael W. Smith.
anything, Harley? Anything there?
No, I don't recognize that man. But Hunter, he went to bed, so I can't ask him.
Ah, bummer.
No.
Ask him later. Text us.
Tragic.
All right, guys. Well, hey, we're gonna talk about just our favorite cartoons. I'm like, we figured we just have a casual conversation to talk about some childhood memories and even not even childhood, like even recent cartoon shows and things that we're into. So, I asked you guys earlier what we should talk about, and you guys brought up some suggestions. So let's just talk about global influence and like what is generally the best cartoon to ever exist. Who wants to say what it is?
Best cartoon to ever exist?
Generally speaking.
Scooby Doo.
Yeah, that one's pretty baller.
You cannot top Scooby Doo in any iteration. Some some series are better than others.
You're
Like What's New Scooby Doo is definitely better than Mystery Inc.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Velma, but I've heard bad things about it.
Yeah.
Where Scooby Doo, Where Are You though? Top tier. Cannot be beaten. The best, and I would argue one of the most influential cartoons to have ever existed.
I hear your Scooby Doo, and I gift you with The Simpsons.
Were you allowed to watch The
Also
Simpsons?
really
Absolutely
good.
not.
Yeah,
I was. I
That's
was
what
allowed
I
to
thought.
watch it.
You heathen.
That's what I thought.
But
Um,
I'm
are we-
speaking generally. Like, I'm not saying that I like The Simpsons more than like Scooby Doo, but I think The Simpsons has a broader impact in the world than Scooby Doo did.
I think The Simpsons is creating the things we see in the world.
Yeah.
Or
Or Matt Groening is a time traveler. Either way.
yeah, I mean, The Simpsons is definitely a massively influential, long-running cartoon. I mean, I could say we can go even further back to like Looney Tunes.
Oh.
The Looney Tunes.
Yeah, I was also thinking Looney Tunes.
Yeah, solid for sure.
Would you call that more? I guess it is more influential. I guess. But
What
is
about-
it
what about-
influential because it was impactful, or just because it was like the OG?
The OG. It
I'd
was-
say
it was
both.
the OG.
Okay.
It did widely affect the way that cartoons were made in the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
That's a good point.
I mean,
It's a
big
grandfather
milestone.
cartoon for sure.
It's
like-
the Beatles
And
of cartoons.
And it
Yeah.
still holds. Like a lot of it still holds.
I love Looney Tunes.
But-
I like what was the Baby Tunes?
Tiny Toons.
Whatever.
Oh, that
Tiny
stuff, yeah.
Toons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I got you on that one. Tiny Toons was like, it was up there. But here's the
Mhm.
thing though. If you show Looney Tunes to kids nowadays, they're not going to be about it.
If you introduce your kids first to modern,
And if you show them the new Looney Tunes, they're not about it.
it's true.
But, and I know this from being in education of young children, if you show the kids nowadays the new Scooby Doo, they love it.
I need to see your work.
I think there's something to be said about like how cartoons for kids are produced nowadays. Like I felt like when we were kids, they were I how old are you, Harley?
24.
24. Okay, so there is a slight cartoon gap there. But like I think that like they were definitely like less stimulating. Like when we were kids. Like now it's like there's so much happening.
That makes
so
a lot of sense.
like bombastic it's like I'm like, wow, it's like definitely playing into the fact that kids don't have attention spans anymore, or is that why they don't have attention spans anymore?
It is very
I
much
digress. That's not where we're going.
well, it's very much like a chicken or the egg kind of question there, because it's like, are the shows trying to catch up to society, or are the kids trying to catch up to the shows?
I think the science behind the shows shows that the people making the shows are trying to keep the kids' attention, trying to make it like the most monetarily profitable thing they can.
Yeah.
So shows like Coco Melon.
Oh my god.
I don't know if you guys have seen
Oh.
the science behind this, but like Coco
Oh.
Melon has a frame change rate of like 2 seconds max,
Yeah.
where whatever is on screen changes to something brand new literally every 2 seconds.
It's pretty bonkers.
And that's how they catch the kid's attention, because it's constantly changing, so the kid doesn't get bored by watching whatever's happening on screen, because it changes every 2 seconds, so it's something new. And it catches the baby's attention, and then they get used to that. So in a show like Scooby-Doo or Looney Tunes, where the frame rate, like the frames per second are like 10, and they change what's happening on screen every 10 to 20 seconds, the kids lose interest because their attention spans have been intentionally shortened by being fed into that way.
And you can see that like on YouTube. Like the videos my kid watches on YouTube, they're very, fast paced, moving from one thing to the next, and it's all that way.
That's why when we started Ellie watching TV, we started with like the classic Disney movies. Like that's all she watched: Snow White, Robin Hood, Cinderella, that kind of stuff. And now I feel like she pays attention for longer to things that other kids just do not care for.
Yeah.
Makes it easier to teach her. She sits longer is essentially it.
But Looney Tunes, that's a good one, man. I think you're right.
I think Looney Tunes has impacted society in a much larger way than people realize.
Yeah, that's a good one. You got one?
I was gonna say SpongeBob.
I mean, it's
SpongeBob,
pretty impactful.
SpongeBob is a cultural phenomenon.
It sure
Yeah.
is.
It is God tier. Whether you like it or not,
Yeah, respect the game.
there is nothing you can say negative about SpongeBob that is going to hold any kind of weight.
Yeah,
because
it was
plays
truly
on
a
itself.
force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I entirely missed that. Like, I am just old enough that like SpongeBob, I like barely missed it. I don't think I've ever seen an entire episode of SpongeBob, honestly.
I want to say I was in 3rd grade when it came out.
Yeah, well, I didn't watch it until I was like middle school or high school, though. So, like, I kind of relate to you in a little bit of way there, Justin. But, like, I remember watching episodes going like, oh, I can get why, like, younger kids are into this.
SpongeBob shaped my life in a way that I cannot fully explain, but I was one of those kids in school that was like, I hate SpongeBob. Everybody likes SpongeBob. I hate it. Like, that was me.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get sucked into it. However, in 4th grade, I started playing clarinet because of SpongeBob. And from there, I moved on to saxophone. That has sculpted the way I understand music
Yeah.
Interesting.
because of SpongeBob. And as you guys know, I'm a big music guy. I love music because I like to break things down to their very base elements and understand them. So, like, you give me a Charlie Puth song, and I'm like, yeah, this is good, but I can also, like, look at the notes that he's singing and why these chords work together and why his harmonies are so good. Like, I can understand all of that stuff about any kind of music because I got invested in it because of SpongeBob.
I think it was during the time my parents got into Sky Angel, so I wasn't really allowed to watch it.
The Sky Angel?
Oh no.
You had one of those?
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
Can you explain to the class what the Sky Angel is?
The Sky Angel was your ultimate accountability buddy. It would block anything.
It was its own. It was its own company. It was its own like Dish Network. Like it was its own Christian version of that.
It blocked anything from entertainment that it deemed ungodly or even slightly like this might send your kid down the wrong path. So we're not
Which
gonna,
was
we're not
everything
gonna watch
fun.
this show.
Everything fun.
It was like what is that app now that they have? PureFlix.
Pure flicks, yeah.
It was like PureFlix, which I downloaded the other day just so we could watch the VeggieTales version of Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Beans.
Oh.
VeggieTales Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Beans.
Have you not seen it? Oh my God, Justin! Lord of the Beans. It's only on PureFlix or to be pirated.
Yeah. I
Interesting.
yeah. SpongeBob was fun though. That's a good one, Harley. It definitely like has stood the test of time.
SpongeBob was
It-
top tier.
Formed me into the person that I am today.
And
Truly.
it has truly. I'm actually thinking about all these shows that we've mentioned, but I don't think none of them have an episode that stands out as much as the halftime show. What was that episode called? I don't know what it was actually called, but like,
Oh, for SpongeBob?
yeah,
Yeah.
like that one is by far probably one of the biggest episodes I can think of a cartoon show.
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
No.
Patrick.
Patrick.
Mayonnaise is not an instrument.
All right.
I have no idea what's
I
going
Band
on.
will say,
geeks.
while we're still on SpongeBob, though, I will say there is not a single situation in your life. I can almost guarantee you this. I would put money on it. There's not a situation in your life that there is not a SpongeBob quote for.
Oh,
Yeah.
3,000%.
Oh yeah, when Dune came out, it's a whole
Try
bunch
me.
of it's Alaskan bullworm.
Big, pink, and hairy. Like 50% of society can relate with that.
I love whenever, like, if Hunter's breath stinks or something, I'm like, he's got the ugly. And he's like, I'm
I'm ugly
ugly.
and I'm proud. One,
And then-
one of the ones that Janelle always says is, well, good luck with that.
Oh, man.
Chocolate.
Chocolate. We say that in my house all the time. What are they selling? Chocolate. Hold on, actually. Hold on. 1 second. What are they selling?
What are they selling? Food.
Chocolate.
I want food, Mom.
So that's my daughter. She wants food. I will be back.
While he's doing that, let's talk about some of our favorite shows growing up. Justin, what did you watch?
All right. So this is a complicated one for me. So I was also grew up in an ultra conservative household. If it was fun, wasn't allowed. Wasn't allowed. The one thing that was allowed though was Batman.
The animated
the animated
series? Yes.
And let me explain to you, I don't think that any show had a greater influence on my life than Batman the Animated Series. It started me down a road of collecting Batman action figures, a lot of which I still have actually. Surprisingly, they survived the last 30 years. Which in turn led me into comics. We don't talk about how bad my comic habit got. There's a point where my ex-wife was like probably ready to send me to rehab, but like comic book buying rehab.
Oh God.
What? What did I miss?
Yeah, Chris just jumped back in and he's like,
what
"What
did I miss?
But yeah, no, I mean, all of that stems from like Batman the Animated Series, you know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, at one point I had
I'm 100% caught up now. Yes.
like 3,000 floppy comics, like loose issues. I'm probably down to about between 250 to 500 right now. But yeah, so I mean, that changed the whole entire course of my life. I'm still a huge Batman fan, huge comic book fan. I still read comics every week. And I can trace all of that back to Batman the Animated Series.
It's wild because like I remember like now I'm a Superman fan. Like I don't really care for Batman, but I do like remember being a Batman fan because of that show and like because of those and like the movies obviously too around that time. But like that show I remember just digging. Like I'm just
Right.
totally into.
Batman the Animated
Also-
Series is one of the fundamental shows of my childhood. That and
And-
Batman Beyond.
Oh yeah, which is still part of the same universe. It's all
It is the same universe.
it's all
just
it's all straight through.
I think Batman Beyond, I think, had a bigger impact on me than Batman the Animated Series because I was reading the comics. So, like, I could follow the Batman animated series as it related to the comics. Batman Beyond was something new.
And I will say, I think that Batman, not just Batman the Animated Series, but the whole Bruce Timm DC universe that he created,
Yeah, the Justice
had a
League,
wide impact on
Unlimited.
comics.
Yeah.
Harley Quinn was made for Batman the Animated
Yes,
Series.
she would not have existed at all if it were not for that show.
Yeah.
And
Terry
she's got her
McGinnis,
own
Batman
movies now.
Beyond, who's a popular comic book character by his own right now. Same.
I kind of wish that they had used Robert Pattinson for Terry McGinnis. Anybody else? Just me?
Yeah.
Like, I think he's a great Batman, but I think he would have been a better Batman Beyond than he is a current Batman.
I don't want to see anybody mess with that. It would just make me so sad.
You don't want to see a
When they
live
release-
action Batman?
It's gonna be terrible. Like, I mean, maybe
Even with
like,
James Gunn
maybe-
directing now? Or not,
Hey,
not
I'm
directing,
not-
producing, I guess?
Yeah, hey, I'm not trusting anything until I see results. DC has burnt me. Warner Brothers has burnt me too
Yeah.
bad. Like,
Here's the thing.
for example,
Warner
the
Brothers
one thing I'm-
has absolutely burned the DCU, but I wouldn't say too bad for me to give it another shot.
the one saving grace was that Zack Snyder was like, "Hey, I'm gonna kill off Dick Grayson before he even makes it on
Before he
screen."
even comes on screen.
And it's like, great, you didn't have
Fair.
a chance to mess with my absolute favorite character. He is my
Nightwing?
number one
Really?
comic book character. Yes.
I would have thought
Nightwing.
Flash.
What?
I would have thought Flash.
I mean, I've read a lot of Flash. I've read all of it. But I digress. Like, no, I would say no, it's definitely Dick Grayson. I think because he was the first sidekick to really grow up.
Come into his own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Followed closely by The Flash, Wally
Sure.
West. But like that was back when comic book characters were allowed to age, and now they're all perpetually stuck. But it's
Right.
fine. It's like I got to see them grow up as I grew up. So that was
Right.
cool. So I have a lot of attachment to Dick Grayson. And I also used to have about 100 issues of 90s to early 2000s Nightwing. And then I went away to college, and my mom threw away all my comics,
Oh.
including the very first volume of Deadpool, which would have made me lots of money.
Oh,
But we don't
yeah.
talk about that. Anyways,
Yeah.
On that
sorry,
note,
I've been here for too long. Someone else talk.
all right, Harley, what about you? Favorite show growing up?
I have a lot.
We'll give them.
I don't think I had a favorite specifically growing up because there is way too many. And there's more that I am visualizing right now that I don't know if I'll be able to list. So we're going to start with I grew up a no cable child
Oh,
because #poor. And so if you had your antenna set a certain way, the local television stations you could get, there was one on Saturday mornings. It was called 4Kids Entertainment.
oh,
And that's where I had my first introductions to obviously my brothers were into Pokemon, but that was my first time like watching Pokemon. Same with like Yu-Gi-Oh. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
nice.
big.
Yep.
But it was like everything that was on this channel was like authentic. I feel like I don't want to say anime because it's not anime, but like
Americanized anime. It was your
not
intro
even
to anime.
Americanized. I mean, it was obviously in like English, but it was like the art style was very like manga.
So,
So it was,
4Kids TV used to be Kids WB.
Which
So you would catch, like, before it became 4Kids TV, you would catch Batman Beyond on stuff like that. But once it
Oh.
became 4Kids TV, they did shows like Ultimate Muscle, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but not the like old school one, the more modern one. They did Pokemon, they did Yu-Gi-Oh, they did Beyblade, Ultimate Muscle, all kinds of weird.
So really, it was a lot of weird anime.
It
Yeah.
was. It's,
yeah.
It's the stuff that became mainstream anime in America, but if you compared it to anime nowadays, you wouldn't technically call it anime.
Yeah.
Like Kirby Right Back at Ya and Sonic X was on that stuff.
Yeah. And that was
Don't
always,
disrespect Kirby.
those are my
I would never,
things.
never
Oh,
disrespect
Winx
Kirby.
Club was on there too, which was
Winx Club.
baller.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Loved me some Winx Club.
Was the Jackie
it was
Chan
like
Adventures on
Pretty
there?
ladies.
I think Jackie Chan Adventures was Cartoon Network.
Oh no, I didn't have cable growing up either. It was definitely on one of those local channels. I want to say
Probably.
it was on Kids WB, but that was before it became 4Kids.
You're right. Yeah.
Channel 26.
There was a time in my life where I didn't have cable, and then I got cable after that. I grew up poor, but I didn't stay poor.
No,
So-
I stayed there a long time. Still, suffering the
look,
consequences.
We hit lower middle class, and I was stoked about it.
Not in that tax bracket yet. Another thing that I used to watch because poor as a child, PBS Kids Go. That was mine. Yeah.
I
That was
also
good.
My
watched
daughter's into that.
PBS. Yeah,
I love it.
Ellie loves
Love it.
PBS Go. She watches all the shows on her now unactivated phone.
Same.
She has an
Yeah.
iPhone like 6 or something that we connect to Wi-Fi, and I
Same.
downloaded the PBS app.
Period.
Actually, I downloaded that app for Ellie because Arya had it.
Yeah.
And Ellie wanted it.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, I used to love this one actually, I guess it technically was not a cartoon, but it was because like the main character was a cartoon, but like there was actual kids playing on the show. It was called Adventures with Ruff Ruffman. So it was like this cartoon dog was like the host, and he would send the kids on to do challenges and tasks and adventures, and it was awesome. Wanted to be on it so bad, but I don't know if I would technically call it a show. I mean a cartoon. Anyways, Arthur,
Arthur.
amazing.
Arthur was top
Loved
tier.
Arthur.
Yeah.
That
Clifford,
theme song still
Fun.
gets me, man.
yes.
I think about the library song. Having
Yeah.
fun ain't hard. Got a library card
yes.
all
That's
the time.
like that's literally libraries were like we're
I-
capitalizing on that.
I mean, I know
Hand it
we're
over.
talking about cartoons, but can we just honorable mention Between the Lions?
No, for sure.
Wait,
3,100
what is
million
that?
percent.
What is
Oh,
that?
It was a show like
Lions
it
in a
was
library.
library show. It probably shaped Harley into who she is today.
Truly.
But it was lions that like I don't know if they lived in the library or whatever,
I think
but
they like owned the library.
they spent all of their time there for sure.
They were like the
and-
little lions out front.
Like it would teach you how to read. So it'd be like ain,
Cliffhanger.
ain, train, and then it would show you a
Mhm.
picture of a train or cliffhanger hanging from a cliff, and that's why he's called Cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then he'd start telling a
Interesting.
story and then he'd be falling off the cliff.
Can't
And you'd
hold
never finish.
on much
Yes.
longer. And then he
Ah,
would be there the next
So
week.
good. So good. Let's see. Curious George.
Curious George.
Everything.
Absolutely.
So good.
Madeline.
also-
Madeline. Did you ever
I
watch
didn't
that?
really I didn't really watch that.
Fair enough.
I watched a lot of Word Girl. I watched a lot of Cyber Chase.
Cyber Chase was up. What's up?
I'm trying to hold. I was just trying to list essentials. Sid the Science Kid, also baller. Wildcrats,
Too old for both of those.
baller.
However, Zaboomafoo.
Yeah, I was
Wildcats
too young
would
for that.
Wildcats would not have been successful if it weren't, or Wildcrats rather, would not have been successful if it weren't for Zaboomafoo. It was
I
the
believe that.
prequel.
None of this is.
Now we're gonna go into
Fancy
Nickelodeon.
Pants, Rich McGee over here.
No, I just didn't watch anything really. The
It wasn't
handful of
allowed
shows.
to be normal. Nickelodeon. We did have cable for a time period, and then it was gone. So cover both my bases. Disney, Nickelodeon, but Nickelodeon, Rugrats,
Yep.
Rugrats.
iconic. Fairly Odd Parents.
Fairly Odd
Iconic.
Parents it's like right below SpongeBob, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yes.
Like,
can
where'd you
put
get
a lot
that?
of things.
Internet?
What's
Never watched it.
what's the neighbor's name?
Dinkleberg.
Dinkelberg.
Dinkleberg.
Jimmy Neutron. Duh.
Yep.
That was awesome. I actually have there's a teen at the library. He does what's Jimmy's friend's name?
Sheen or Carl?
Carl. He does
Carl
the Carl
Weezer.
voice. He's like, "Hey, man."
Hey, Jimmy's mom.
It's so good. I watched a lot of Blue's Clues growing up. A lot of Blue's Clues.
See, like you said, you're 24, so
Mhm.
you're a little bit younger than my sister, but my sister was totally into Blue's Clues.
Yeah, I love Blue's Clues.
I'm gonna be
But I
honest
had
with you
like the
guys.
millennial Steve.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I thought paprika was just salt and pepper mixed together.
I think we all did. I had no concept.
Because in Blue's Clues, you had Mr. Salt and Mrs. Pepper, or the other way around. I don't remember which.
I think that's correct. The first
And
way.
they had a baby, and it was paprika.
Right.
So for the longest time, I did not know, and like an embarrassingly long time.
Yeah.
Like I was married to Janelle before I found out that paprika was not just salt and pepper mixed together.
Yeah.
Oh man.
My wife is a chef, guys. I feel like I should have known that sooner.
Genetics. Crazy when it comes to spices.
Yeah, who would have known? I think they had another one too, like Mr. Salt and Mrs. Pepper had, or whatever the combo was. Like I think they had.
Yeah, there
like,
was another one. There's a little baby.
multiple children.
Oh my God, where was I? Oh, Max and Ruby. Watched a lot of Max and Ruby. Da-na-na-na. Ruby and Max. The little bunny siblings. Nope,
I know
okay.
none of this.
Bob the Builder.
I was aware of Bob the Builder.
Yeah, I
Only
do know what
because
that
my
is.
father used that as a tool to start preaching into elementary schools.
Oh.
Side note, I'm sorry, I was Googling while you guys were talking. Salt and Pepper, it is Mr. Salt and Mrs. Pepper, had 4 kids total. Paprika, cinnamon, and then Sage and Ginger. Sage and Ginger are twins.
Yes.
fun.
So, fun
Gonna
facts.
say. Thanks. And then I'm gonna go. Oh wait, Disney, Phineas and Ferb. Oh my God, amazing.
Oh,
I
Phineas
brought up
and
Phineas
Ferb.
and Ferb when I was talking to Janelle about this, and she was not about it.
Me neither.
That's literally it was. I feel like it was the perfect show for like kids and adults.
There's
but,
104 days of summer vacation, and school comes along just to end it. So the annual
Yeah.
problem for our generation is finding a cool way to spend it. Like maybe.
Like maybe.
So when I was
Climbing up the
a
Eiffel
little bit
Tower.
homeless and living on my friend's couch.
I'm sorry,
um,
what?
Yeah, so
Did you say a
2009
little bit homeless?
yeah, 2009
That's not
I
how
got
that
kicked
works,
out.
bud.
In 2009 I got kicked out by my parents 3 separate times. You know,
Sinner.
all for stupid reasons. The last one was, I shit you not, because my dad decided to institute an electricity curfew of 1 a.m. Mind you, I worked at night and I get out of bed at 3 p.m. and he comes home. He's like, "Why aren't you in bed?" And I'm like, "I've been awake for less than 12 hours. Like, I don't know what to tell you." So yeah, I got kicked out over that. It was fun. Anyways, I lived on my friend's couch for a little while because I had no job and no money and nowhere to live. So I used to stay up all night with her and we would watch Phineas and Ferb
Wow.
because it was her college apartment with her. It was her and 2 other roommates in a tiny college apartment in Normal, Illinois.
That's fun.
And I lived out a Rubbermaid bin and watched a shit ton of Phineas and Ferb.
That's
I'm
cool.
glad
Great.
I got you through.
I love Phineas and Ferb. That was also
Phineas
an
and Ferb
equally
in
rough
French.
time of my life. 2009 was probably one of the worst years of my life. And Phineas and Ferb got me through it.
2009, man, that year was garbage.
That year fucking sucked. Oh my God.
And wasn't that the year of bird flu?
Recession.
Or was that swine flu?
I
was
want to
around there.
say it was Ebola.
Oh,
Nah,
didn't the
that one
Fort
wasn't
Hood shooting
Ebola.
happen in 2009? Or
Which
was
one?
that 2008? Which one?
Oh,
Oh,
This is America.
we've got one every year. So I
Yeah.
mean,
The
gotta be more
first big
specific.
one, I think, was either in 2008 or 2009.
If you're talking about, see, which one are you talking about? Like, this
First
goes
to
back
you
I
and first
Googled-
to me
no,
are
listen,
2 different
listen.
things.
I
First to me
Googled
is
mass
Columbine.
shooting 2009.
That's what I was thinking of. That's what
I said the one in Fort Hood.
I
Oh.
googled
Oh, I
mass
think we
shooting
all missed that part.
2009, and it says
what I was
list
thinking
of
too.
mass shootings in 2009 in the U.S.
No, the Fort
Let's
Hood
see.
shooting.
Yep.
Yeah, that was.
Um,
I think it was like
Yeah,
2011.
November
right?
5th, 2009.
Oh, was it?
Yep.
Yes. I was still in elementary school. We got sent home early that day.
Do you guys want the full list?
No.
No, thank
Nah.
you.
It's,
Okay.
Not
it's really,
cartoons.
it's
We-
really sad. I'm still scrolling.
We have to move
I'm
on, Christopher.
it's
We-
making
Okay, let
me
me get through my
sad.
Cartoon Network shows.
Yes, please.
I'm not
do.
going to list
Please.
all of them,
Please
but
do.
I watched a lot of Cartoon Network. And that was probably the most brain rot for an early child as there probably could have been.
but it was great.
I'm
but it
still
was so good.
scrolling.
Hello. What did you do? No.
Oh no! Did she
No.
disappear?
What happened?
No,
How'd
I'm
it come
right
back? There you are.
Yeah.
Hello?
She's here.
Okay. So I'm going to start with I don't know why. Tom and Jerry, I don't think it was on Cartoon Network. Might have been.
It was.
I
It
watched
was,
a lot.
yeah.
Okay. I watched a lot of Tom and Jerry
Same.
for some godforsaken reason.
It was great.
But it was awesome. Kim Possible.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of Kids Next Door.
Kim
dude,
Possible is
freaking
Disney.
next door.
Kim Possible was Disney,
Oh,
but also Kids Next Door.
Kim
Yes.
Possible. I meant for Disney then. Kids Next Door, Powerpuff Girls. Watched a lot of what's the? Oh my gosh, it's the one Billy and Mandy.
Yeah.
The
The Grim Adventures of
Yeah,
Billy
Grim
and Mandy.
Adventures. Yeah.
Which,
Yes.
fun fact, started off as two separate shows with
Oh.
The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy and Evil Con Carne. It was like 15 minutes of one show and 15 minutes of the other. Evil Con Carne was the one about the bear that had an evil genius's brain and stomach implanted into it. So, like, it was this giant purple bear that was being walked around by a disembodied brain and stomach. So sometimes the stomach would talk up and be like, I'm hungry. And the brain would be like, shut up, you. We're conquering the world.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
But then sometimes the bear would take over and it would just do bear things while this evil genius brain is yelling at it to do evil things.
This feels familiar, actually. That feels oddly familiar. I don't know. Well, watch that. Probably really not good for the brain. Watched a lot of
Nope.
Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Yes.
Courage the Cowardly
Loved
Dog
that. That
was
was good
not
stuff.
good for the brain. And that's probably one of the most traumatic things I had ever seen in my life.
But it was so
I
good.
loved it as a kid, but
I
now
watched
can't watch
Chucky.
anything remotely scary.
I watched Child Play at daycare when I was 5 years old. And I would think that Courage the Cowardly Dog was more traumatizing than that.
You know?
Why?
Nope. We don't have time for this Chris story. We got to move on. Well, that's a whole other episode.
I watched a lot of Something House for Imaginary Friends.
Foster's
Yes.
Home. for
Foster's
Imaginary Friends.
Home.
It
Yes.
was not a house. It was a home.
Sorry. Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Lots of Johnny Bravo. Watched
Johnny Bravo was dope.
Regular Show.
That's
And-
one I
okay,
couldn't
so
get
this-
into.
This is where things start getting really bad because there's Adventure Time, Regular Show, Chowder, and Flapjack.
All
Yeah.
of those were the same animation style, and I hate that animation style.
They weren't all the same.
They were all the same animation style, yes. Like, the shows are not the same in and of themselves, but the animation style, the way they were drawn, the same. And I hate it.
Anyways, moving along,
I
please.
So-
feel
I'm
like
sorry.
I don't understand what you mean. But yeah, I think that's it. I watched also a lot of Ed, Ed and Eddie.
That was gonna be my thing. Ed
Oh,
and
I'm
Eddie.
so sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you said a lot of the
So-
same ones that I watched too, but like,
If we were not recording at night, I would whistle the theme song.
do 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 do.
How do you
Oh.
guys remember
Dun,
all
dun.
of this stuff?
Dun,
I
dun,
don't.
dun.
I had to look up
It's only,
things.
well, for me, it's only a handful of shows. Like I remember, like briefly, like probably watching in passing, like especially with my sister. But like the only shows I really was into was Ed, Ed and Eddie, and Kids Next Door, and
For-
Teen Titans.
For me, it's all I had.
Oh, Teen Titans. For sure.
Justin, that question made me incredibly sad. It unlocked things that I don't think my brain wanted to unlock.
Oh, I also watched Recess. I don't know if you guys ever watched that.
Ellie's watching Recess literally right now. As we
I
speak,
loved-
I
That was
put
fun.
Recess on for her to watch
loved
while we
Recess.
record this.
Really good.
Okay, so we
Good
should
stuff.
move on to one final question here before we kind of move on to like these other parts of the cartoon and stuff. But like, what do you feel like is like the most influential in your life? And I'll start mine. I'll just get it going, and that is like it wasn't a kid, but Star Wars Clone Wars. That show was fantastic.
One of
and
my top
just
5 favorite shows,
start to finish.
cartoon
enjoyed it.
and or otherwise.
Yeah.
For me, I would say Scooby-Doo, and that's because it taught me that the real monsters are people.
Mm.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Great lesson to take away. I would have to say for me, it was Mobile Suit Gundam Seed.
Sir,
I
Ooh.
started pirating that when I was in high school. Well, first it was on Cartoon Network, and the American version they
Was
didn't have real
not as
guns.
good.
They had laser guns. It was
Yep.
super weird. And then I later got the real thing, from a friend who used to pirate it, burned me little DVDs with like 4 episodes on them. But yeah, that movie changed my that show changed my perspective on war.
Mm.
The one thing that Gundam has always been has been a story about war and the suffering and the trauma that results from it.
why war is bad?
Because usually there's not a good side. Both sides have good people and they have terrible people.
That's why I like
And-
Mobile Suit Gundam, because like
Yeah.
you start watching it and you're following these characters, and obviously you have your main characters, and they're all fighting for the same thing. But by the end of the show, there are 2 on one side, 3 on the other. One of them is just like back and forth between the 2 sides, so you never really know what he's actually fighting for. And it's like this commentary on war in general.
Yeah.
Solid choice.
Harley, what about you?
I don't know. I don't know if I have just one. I feel like they all
Harley just gave
together.
us her list.
They're all-
Yeah, like they had to all together form who I am today. Also, honorable mention: Dexter's Laboratory and
Dexter's
Totally Size.
Laboratory.
Yeah.
DD.
He's the
Get out the
smartest boy you've ever
laboratory.
seen. But Didi blows his experiments.
Okay,
To
quick hypotheticals.
smithereens.
what are the characters who would most likely swear the most if they were in an adult cartoon?
Oh, Squidward.
That's a good one.
Solid answer.
That's a solid one.
Ooh, solid answer.
Though, like that
Vegeta.
whole they had that whole episode in SpongeBob where they were like, what was the dolphin noises? Like they were.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't do it. All the
Not
noise.
not really kids cartoon, but I would say that if Vegeta was in like a more adult
Vegeta,
cartoon,
100%.
he would just always just be like
Yeah.
fucking Kakarot, like
100%.
all the time.
100% Vegeta for sure.
I think like Ed and Eddie would actually be a fun one because it's just a whole bunch of teenage boys. You'd probably get quite a bit of.
They wouldn't be good at it though.
They would not be good at it, but you get a whole lot of it.
No.
got you. I
Yeah.
got you.
They would be the curse words that are used incorrectly,
Correct.
I got you.
which would make it fun.
Yosemite Sam
Oh, that's a good one.
from Looney
Yeah.
Tunes.
That's good.
All this rassin', frassin', darn tootin'. I think he actually like started cursing for a
Probably.
while.
All right, next one. What cartoon?
Oh, probably Jerry. Or which one was the cat in Tom and Jerry?
Tom.
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 Yeah,
Tomcat.
Definitely Tom.
that's a good one. What cartoon would have been better if it wasn't targeted at kids?
Mm.
Season 1 of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I was gonna say Kids Next Door. That show can get really dark really quick.
Yeah.
But would it be better? Or would it just make you sad?
Depends on who is the creator, but if you like the creators of the boys behind
For
that
me, it would just make me sad.
thing, it would be dark and good, I think.
Teen Titans.
Oh,
But I guess it's technically not really directed at kids because obviously adults can watch it and
You-
still get
they have a
enjoyment.
Titan show that is more
You've-
for adults,
was-
but it is not better.
No,
I would say
it's
that
not
the,
better. And
uh,
the Titan show that is directed at kids is also awful.
Teen Titans Go.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay, that one's
we're about the
hilarious,
right
but-
one.
No, the really older one.
But
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
older
Teen Titans
Teen
is good.
Titans. I will say though that if you want that experience, go read a lot of it is based off of like 80s Teen Titans, 70s and 80s by Marv Wolfman.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like
I have a lot
Tara,
of those comics.
that's not good. She's not all fun and no.
They
That's
touch on Tara's story a little bit in Titans.
A little bit, yeah.
Not the Teen Titans one or Teen Titans Go, but the adult angle
Live action.
Titans. No, not the live action one. Maybe I'm.
Oh, you're
narrowing
thinking
them
of
wrong.
you're thinking of the Judas Contract movie,
Well,
probably.
the movie, yes, but no, the show that came out, Teen Justice. That's it.
Oh, Young Justice.
Young Justice.
Young Justice. Yeah. They
Yeah.
touch on Tara's story a bit in that one.
All right, last question. What popular movie that you like do you think could be better as a cartoon? Like live action movie, do you think would be better as a cartoon?
Live action?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I think Avatar, not like Last Airbender, but the blue people.
Oh.
I think that would be a good one.
That'd be cool.
Oh, man.
I think I could get into like Lord of the Rings.
They're releasing a Lord of the Rings anime this year.
Oh, that's right. Rohirrim, right?
Mhm.
That'd be dope.
I'm pretty pumped about it.
I would
I-
say Blade Runner.
Oh, good call.
Here's a
Big
question
good.
for
I think
you,
Hunter
though.
watched that the other
Specifically
day.
for you, Justin. Do you think cartoon or anime?
Anime. There was actually an anime tie-in to the most recent Blade Hunter movie, which gave me that idea.
Okay.
It's on
I-
Crunchyroll.
And as soon as you said that, I was thinking like Animatrix versus The Matrix.
I
and
know
I-
it's way better than that.
Is it good? Okay, solid. I might watch that then.
Harley-
I can't think of anything.
Oh, I thought you had one.
No,
All right.
my brain melty.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, then I think there's a good spot to end it.
I think so.
All right, guys. Well, hey,
I would like to say Janelle and I had this conversation just like between the two of us talking about our favorite shows and all that stuff. And this was a lengthy conversation.
oh yeah, this could be a 2-part episode if we wanted to. It could be a twofer.
Hofer.
But on the last, we are not going to extend this any more than it has to. So we'll be right back. And when we get back, we got some Reddit questions to answer. So don't go anywhere. All right, everyone. We are back.
I missed you guys.
So long.
Speak for yourself. I'm just kidding.
All right, guys. We are not going to
Bye.
make this last segment too long. But I got some Reddit questions.
Why
I
are you
think-
looking at me like I did it?
Homie, I would. You know what I would love
You're
to
a
do?
problem.
I'm going to get AI involved in this, and I'm going to actually see the amount of time, like the time each person speaks.
I don't think that's a good idea.
I,
I don't.
as
I
a
don't
person
wanna
who
do
edits
that.
this podcast, I actually know the answer to this.
I don't want to do that.
But hey, we're not going to do our normal fan questions. We forgot to kind of send something out, so we're just going to ask some Reddit questions, and it'll be probably it'll be fun. It'll be great. So here's the first one.
YTA.
If seasons never changed, which would you most like to live in eternity?
If seasons never changed,
Yes,
I have to pick a season forever to live in.
correct.
There's
Can I-
one right answer.
Can I pick where I experienced that season?
Sure.
Well, you could travel the world during that
That's a good
as
point.
well. And it's different.
But is it like seasonal
place.
lock? Like if I go in spring in the northern hemisphere, is it autumn in the southern?
Ooh.
No,
Or
it's everywhere in
like
the world. it's
Everywhere I
this
go,
season.
it is that
It's
season.
a hypothetical magical thing.
Fall. That's my answer. Fall
I think I agree.
time.
I think I agree. Fall.
Fall would be the most enjoyable to do everyday life in. But of course, my brain is like, I feel like it would need to be spring so that we could like, I don't know, grow food and shit.
Good point.
Well, my answer would be summer. However, I think spring would be a close second, to make other people happy. But
You live in Texas and you're picking summer. What is
What
your
is
problem?
wrong with you?
I don't
You're
care.
a problem, Tim.
I don't care what you people will say. the most
Tim's like, I
enjoyable
wanna
parts
suffer.
of
I wanna
life
get-
happen in the summer. You go to
Tim
the
wants to be
lake
sunburned
in the
all
summer.
year round.
I get tan. I enjoy it. You have barbecues in the summer. You have family events in the summer. You have
here's the
party.
thing, though.
You have summer break in the summer.
Here's the thing, though.
Summer
You can
is
do
the
all
best
of those
holiday
things
season.
during other
Doesn't matter
seasons.
what you say. You know it to be true.
No, I don't. It's
I
hot.
disagree.
I
Listen,
had to
I
load
live
a
in
truck
Texas.
It's a
in the
vibe.
heat today, and it was awful. And I got to do that for the next 4 months.
And he's
You
in
think-
Michigan.
Michigan? No, Wisconsin.
Michigan.
Wisconsin. Sorry,
Dude.
Michigan. Sorry.
I'm by Lake Michigan, but yeah, no, It
Wisconsin.
was awful. It was only 84 today, and I was miserable. So,
Oh, we reached 100 here in Kansas.
oh gosh, yeah. See, that's awful. I would want to die. I
Mhm.
would just.
And then there was a
it-
thunderstorm with golf ball size hail. So
Yeah, I'm gonna stay in
Fuck
Wisconsin.
summer. I do love summer, but I think, and I was really thinking about it. It really depends on where I am.
And that's fine. But that's my point, though. Is like if it's summer everywhere, you can go to other parts of the country and you'll be just fine. But like for me, that actually like it warm and are okay with occasionally giving a sweat, then it's fine for me. I go out to the pool or the beach or the lake or whatever and have a fantastic time.
Yeah, but if
I want
there's
to
no
never
pool
sweat
or
again in
beach
my
or
life.
lake, what are you doing?
You're enjoying the summer.
You're staying inside.
Suffering.
You
That's what you're
specifically
doing.
stay inside.
No, I'm done with this question. You guys are ridiculous.
My AC is already on. It is 70 degrees outside, and my AC is still on because it is too hot.
Okay, whatever. Whatever. If you were an inanimate object, what would you be and why?
Chair.
What would you say?
Chair.
Like any object?
No.
Christopher.
I'm asking a question. Like any inanimate object.
Yes.
A specific individual inanimate object? Or like,
Christopher, dude,
am I all rocks? Or just like a rock?
just a thing.
Oh,
Just a thing.
that's a good question.
Thank you,
Good valid
Harley.
point. You're welcome.
Because it changes the answer. If I'm like one thing,
I feel like either way, you're just going to get gross. Like, what are we doing here?
I'm not going to get gross.
Wait, I'm just thinking of like the boulder from Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Like,
But he was one rock. What are you talking about, though?
that's
Or
what I'm
she was.
saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, am I all inanimate objects of that particular thing?
No.
Be the Rock,
Yeah.
Dwayne.
Nice.
I don't know, man. Inanimate object, I'd probably be like a whiskey glass.
Mm. Okay.
Mm,
Like, I want to be useful, but I also want to be left alone a lot of the time.
On that
But
same note,
I do want to be like brought out for parties.
on that same note, like a guitar. I think I would enjoy being a guitar. Like, obviously, like the kind of guy who's not like a musician, but just a casual guitar player.
Hmm.
You want to be Wonderwall every party, every opportunity.
Yeah. I'll be okay
Every
with that.
time somebody pulls you out, you're just gonna play Wonderwall.
Yeah. Why not?
Matchbox 20.
There you go.
What was the one-
Wonderwall.
What was the one from Yes Man with Jim
That's on the
Carrey?
tune.
Third Eye Blind.
Yeah.
I wish you would step back from that ledge, my friend.
What does Ken sing? Whoa, what does Ken sing in Barbie?
My job
Oh.
is beach. And
Is it-
you're so good at beach.
What does he sing though? Like when he gets out his guitar and everything. I can't remember what they
Cold.
sing.
Was that not Wonderwall?
It's a Matchbox 20 song.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think it is Matchbox. Yeah, it definitely is. Oh, what is it called? Harley, you'll look it up while I...
Is it Push?
Yeah, maybe. I really don't remember. I have to listen to it. But yeah, I imagine that. All right, did everyone say what they were going to be? Justin, did you say?
Yep.
It is push.
Chair.
Oh, that's right, chair. Chair, push.
Is it the one who's like, I don't know if I've ever been good enough? Is it that one? I don't remember.
All right, next question. Do you or have you ever had a nemesis?
No.
I have a story, a very quick story.
You tell your story and then I'll tell my story.
A very quick story. But yes, my high school year, I had this guy, and I'll call him Bob. he was in band with me, but he also had a crush on the same girl that I had a crush on in high school.
That son of a bitch.
And I thought me and her were going to date and like do all the great things. And then out of nowhere, their relationship status changed and they were dating. And that made me mad. But then she moved away into my sophomore year. And so I was like, fine. Well, then come my senior year, he played trombone, so do I. But there's this part in the solo, in marching band where there's a solo for a trombone/baritone player. And I was pretty good. And I thought I had it in the bag. Nope. He somehow comes out, and apparently, according to the band director, he was better than I was, which was not accurate. I was so much better than he was, but yes, he was my nemesis in high school.
Wow.
I did not
That's
like
crazy.
that. I did not like that guy.
No, I don't think I ever had a nemesis. I had people I didn't like, that's for sure, but I don't think I had somebody who I was constantly like in kafutz with.
I feel like I was the nemesis for somebody. I was a problem.
That sounds correct. I feel like that's right.
Chris, tell us your story.
I'm going to try to keep it short, but you're going to get what I give you and you're going to like it.
Okay.
There was this guy when I worked at Disney. Yeah, automatically. Boo. First of all,
F
a
that guy.
white man.
Boo.
No.
Oh, white man. No.
Exactly. And what did security do about it? Nothing.
Let him stay.
He was just there.
Ugh.
Anyway, so there's this white guy at Disney that I could not stand. Like, I worked with some people that weren't my favorite, but the only two people in the world that I would say would be my nemesis, whatever, nemopodes. The only two people in the world would be Janelle's ex-boyfriend that she dated right before me,
The worst.
and this guy who will still remain nameless because some of my Disney coworkers listen to this podcast.
Raggy.
And this guy became such a thorn in my side because I liked this girl because Janelle was still dating her ex-boyfriend at the time. So I was like, well, I'll move on. And he also liked this girl. However, we all went out as a big group to a club or something, and I'm not a big clubbing person. But while we were there, he put his hands on her in a very violent fashion. He was the last person that I got into a fist fight with in my life that wasn't just like a play fight, you know? And I knocked him out cold.
Look at you.
Yeah. Yeah, you did.
He was like maybe almost a foot taller than me. He was a tall dude, but, you know, I've been fighting taller people than me my whole life. I'm a very small person. So it took maybe like 2 hits and he was down. But from that point, we still had to work together.
Oh,
No, no.
So, like, what happens outside of Disney while you're at Disney stays outside of Disney. What happens while you're at Disney stays at Disney. So, like, you can have a bad working relationship with somebody and have a great time hanging out in large groups with that person there. I did not have that with him. It was like on site almost. I hated him and he hated me. And it did not get better when that girl decided she wanted to hang out with me more than him. So he got upset about it, put his hands on her at that club. And at that club, it was 1-2. And then we all had to run because he was unconscious on the floor. But that was my nemesis. Like I said, 2 nemesis.
I feel like
that
having
was
a
the worst
nemesis
one.
is a very male thing to do.
It
I
absolutely
was
is.
going to ask you, Harley, did you have anything?
100%.
No.
It's a man thing. Like women.
Whoa. I feel like most of I feel like all my friends who had
Watch what
very
you say.
violent, not violent, but like very like aggressive, like nemesis. Nemesis.
Nemesi.
What? Sure, nemesis
We got to look this up, guys.
were women. Like as I think back to like high school,
I think when
yeah,
I think
The girls that you knew had other
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 girl
girls that they-
nemesis.
I think
Right.
Nemesis.
We have to- I think we have to determine what
Wait.
constitutes a nemesis.
Yeah.
Because, like, I know plenty of girls that didn't like other girls, but I wouldn't call them nemesis. Nemesis.
Yeah.
Nemeses.
If it doesn't come to physical blows or, like, you trying to ruin their life, not just make them have a bad
Oh
time.
no, like trying to take their life, like become them,
Yes.
replace them. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that would
Well, I wouldn't
mean,
say,
I
like,
also
don't know
that
about
wasn't
that.
a
That's a
weird-
pretty
that's
deep
not-
emotion.
yeah, that's not nemesis behavior if you're trying to replace them.
You are a villain.
That
That's
just
Joe
makes you the
Goldberg.
villain. But
No,
like,
I'm saying that was what the nemesis was doing,
Oh.
like trying to.
That's how I
what's
felt.
it, co-
That's how I felt
cop their
Bob was though.
style.
Like I felt like he was currently always trying to undermine me and like trying to like get in my way.
Mm,
yeah.
Tim
I
name
don't
dropped.
know. No, he said we were going to call him Bob. We'll call
Oh.
mine Bob, too.
Bobbert.
So Bob too. No, like so in
That was a dad
so
joke.
like in the scenario that I was that I was thinking of, it's like, oh no, it's like this person starts copying her style and trying to hang out
Mm.
with all of her friends,
Oh.
then it's like, oh, you're just trying to replace them.
But
Yeah.
in
is
the
that
creepy
Yeah.
sense.
is that specifically nemesis behavior or is that sidekick behavior?
I think that is there's something, and I'm trying to think of what it's called, but that's like
That's
not
mean,
a nemesis.
This is Mean Girls. Like this is what we're talking about at this point.
No, this is like somebody who like Justin's saying, like wants to be you.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think
They're-
There's
it's
they're
like a-
jealous.
it's
They
a very
wanna be
thin
who you
line,
are.
though. It's a very thin line.
But there was like a term for it
'Cause, like,
Mm.
I
that I
don't
feel like I used to know, but I can't think.
I don't think that my Bob wanted to be me. He
Bobbert.
just also had the same interests as me and didn't like me because he saw me as a threat. Like he didn't want
Yeah.
to be me, but he saw
I
me
think
as a threat to what he wanted, so he didn't like me. And vice versa. I saw him as a threat to what I wanted and I didn't like him.
Yeah, a nemesis is somebody who sees you as a I think.
See, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like maybe it was the other way, but like, see, Bob was definitely smarter than me. Like he took the advanced classes, and like this girl that I liked, she was a smart girl. Like I was trying to get above my league for sure, but like I felt
Why
like
is there a girl involved in both of your stories?
that's usually where
It's
it's
always a girl
there's-
when it comes
yeah,
to men.
yeah.
Boys, men, we don't have nemesis
But mine-
unless it's about a girl.
But mine did go beyond that because she moved away. But it's still like centered because of her. It started because of her.
Mm.
I still to this day hate Bob. My Bob.
Hate that guy
I love to hate that guy.
so much.
Silly Bobbert.
All right, one last question,
Eh.
and then we should probably wrap this show up. If you could be good at any profession without having to receive the accompanying education or trade experience, which would you choose?
Investment banking.
That's something that you would like enjoy and want to do?
No, but if I could be good at it, it would fund what I actually want to do.
Oh,
I feel like I have a few of them.
okay. What you got?
I have a welder. I have obviously a historian. I don't want to keep going to school.
I was going to say, you're kind of already down that path.
I don't wanna. And then a politician.
Oh, wow.
I feel like I'd be a
Make
really
some
good
change.
politician. I just don't know the right people. You have to have
Yeah.
the connections.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of it includes power and money, and that's.
And I
something
feel
that-
like I would get in there and I would not shut up.
100%, I would sell all of you out.
Sell us out.
They would be like, well, what are we going to do? And whoever paid me the most money, I'd follow their path.
Oh,
That's kind of how it works right now.
Look,
There's nothing new.
As soon as the NRA handed me a check, I'd be like, I think we need more guns in school.
Jesus Christ.
Let's fund the war on drugs.
Yeah, no. I think
I'm
it
just
would
kidding.
take a lot.
I would absolutely not do that. I would.
There's a Gannett.
A gnat.
Yeah.
Justin,
I
what about
call
you,
them
man?
that.
I love it.
Probably like an architect.
Ooh.
Not just like-
Oh.
not just like, oh, I build houses. I want to build sprawling corporate complexes. I
Mm.
want it to be the 12th wonder of the world. I don't know why it's 12, but that's what we're going with.
Justin, have
You
you
know-
have you seen that like the 5-mile long city they're planning on putting in Saudi Arabia?
They shorten it, by the way.
That's fine. Whatever. They're gonna
No,
make it
I've
longer.
not.
It's
So-
4 miles now.
It's like it's supposed to be a walking community where like every little bit is sectioned off, not like
But it's like
cut
thin.
off from the others. But it's like maybe 4 or 5 blocks wide, 5 miles long was the original plan, just in the desert. But it's gonna be like 17 stories high. It reminds me of like Judge Dredd, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Sounds very dystopian.
No, it's supposed to be utopian.
Yeah.
No.
Like the city is walkable. There's no like segments where hey, you can't go here,
So you
can't
can't
go there.
leave.
Well,
You can leave. No, you
Yeah.
can
And then all of a sudden it's like,
No,
well,
it will
level
become-
17
Oh, yeah. I could
is
probably
where the
become that way.
rich people live.
Yes,
And
that's
level 2
100%
is
how
Over
it's
time,
where
for sure.
the peasants are.
that's 100% how it's going.
Hunter
to
and I were
end up.
watching a
Snowpiercer for
show
sure.
that was kind of like that. What was it called? It was like something about being in like a silo. Ew, silo. It was called Silo.
I was gonna say, is it Silo?
Yeah, it reminds me of Snowpiercer. Like eventually, like this
Yeah.
mile is where the rich people live. This mile is where all the middle classes
Uh-huh.
and
Yep, that's how it's gonna end up. Yes.
And poor people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's either going to end up like that or the way Epcot is. Like when Walt Disney first said, "Hey, let's do Epcot," it was supposed to be like a neighborhood where scientists lived, and it was all of the futuristic tech, and all of the people that
Mm.
lived there were going to be like ambiguous racially and all kinds of great stuff about it. And
Ambiguous racial.
then everybody that worked at Disney was like, or we could charge money for people to visit there and we could become rich. And they were like, yeah, let's do that.
That's good. That's good. That's a really good idea.
Write that down. Write that down.
I would say being a filmmaker. I would really enjoy to be
Mm.
good at that.
I think you're good at
Yeah.
that, bud.
Well, thanks. I would like to but if to answer the question, like not have to go to school for it and just be good at it. Like,
Now, when you say be good, do you also mean successful?
yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it's usually equated with one another, but like not necessarily. But like,
I think there are plenty of really good filmmakers out there that aren't successful because, again, they don't know
Sure.
the right people or they just miss the connections that would make them successful.
sure, very true, very true. It's like I remember too because I think it was the 20th anniversary of Napoleon Dynamite recently, and they were talking about how it got made and how it was all based off these guys just writing a story. Like it was supposed to be like a short story, like a short, like 20-minute thing about their experience in Idaho, and someone picked it up. Like they thought it was a good idea. It won like a local award, and someone picked it up. But the budget was $400,000. And the movie ended up turning up like, what was it, $400 million no, not that much, like 46 million, I think. But still, like that ratio is huge.
That is way more money than I thought that movie was shot on.
yeah.
Like, the budget is way more. I thought
No.
it had like a budget of like maybe $10,000.
Well, most of the money went to the rights to the song at the end. I'm not joking. I can't remember the amount of it, but like a good sized portion of it was just to get the rights for that song. And they didn't even have the rights to it until they had actually almost already. No, it was after they released it to
they bought the
it's a
rights
festival.
proactive-
I can't remember what festival it was.
post-actively.
Yeah, but anyways, a filmmaker or maybe like a musician, that'd be fun too. Like a composer, that'd be fun. All right, guys. I think we have a good spot to end the show.
I think so. Once I Google what that
Yeah.
end song was.
That was a great. Harley, you
The
watched that
Promise.
movie, right?
It was The Promise.
Watch.
No, not that one. The one that he danced to.
Watch what?
Oh.
Napoleon Dynamite.
I was
No,
going
I
to say,
didn't.
because The Promise, fun
Actually-
fact, my brother-in-law was conceived to that song, The Promise.
Don't want to hear any more.
Oh, that's gross.
That's as far as I was going
I
to go.
only
He just told me
watched-
that today.
Like
No.
bits and pieces of it.
It's a fun.
It's
movie.
not something I watch consistently through.
It's not something you should watch consistently through. It's,
Napoleon Dynamite?
yeah, if we're being honest, it's not a good movie to watch.
It's a cult classic.
It's-
You have to be
it's
into it
a
or
good
not.
movie to quote and reference. It's not a
Mm.
good movie to watch.
Yeah, I figured. I'd rather quote Forrest Gump.
I would say
Jenny.
I may not be a smart man.
But I know what love is.
I say it all the time.
Lieutenant Dan, you ain't got no legs.
I know that gump.
Final thoughts, guys. Final thoughts.
Cartoons formed me into the person I am today.
I feel like they formed all of us.
Which
into
isn't that just an interesting
people.
sentence that a moving picture of animated characters,
Little doodles.
doodles shaped how we think and believe in things.
I think it's weird that it's considered childish when it has made all of us into who we are.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
Like, why are you looked down upon as an adult for watching cartoons?
Mm-hmm.
That's one of those things that doesn't make sense to me when people are like, well, you know, you watch cartoons, it's childish. Says who? Well, it's how it's always been.
Well,
Why?
it was like
Why?
It was like your.
Why is it that?
It's like your take the other time we recorded about like football jerseys or like any kind of jerseys, like people that get on people who like do cosplay. It's like you do.
You
the same
wear
thing.
the jersey of another grown man.
Yeah.
Like, you're wearing the costume too. It's just a different genre.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like fantasy football is
It's
just D&D for sports fans.
yes.
100% it is.
1,000
True.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's just more
Less dice
societally
rolling.
acceptable because somebody in the
I'm gonna tell Hunter
50s,
that.
somebody in the 50s decided, you know, this is the more manly thing.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what Don Draper says.
That was a good show. I think Harley, you kind of just said it well. I think those shows definitely did a thing on us, and I think what I really enjoyed, like even about like the Clone Wars, like I feel like that show carried me through a lot because it was so, and that most of it was during my young adulthood, but it was just so
And you grew up with it.
yeah, it really was a show that gave me a lot of great lessons, but also just gave me comfort. And there's not a lot of things in this world that just do that without expecting something of you.
I
And
like that a lot of the shows we grew up with like picked an age and like locked into that group of kids
Oh, yeah.
and grew up with them.
yeah,
Like the further into the show you get, the more adult themes arise as you age with that show.
Right.
I really like that.
yeah, I agree. Final thoughts for Justin, Chris? Or I guess that was kind of your final thought.
I will
Yeah,
never
no.
have a final thought. All of my thoughts link to other thoughts.
Okay.
If that
That
man
is-
stops thinking, we have a problem.
That's when you worry.
That is the final thought.
All right.
Dragon
My-
Tales, Dragon
Look, I
Tales.
promise
it's
you-
almost time for Dragon Tales.
My final thought is going to be, am I having an aneurysm right now?
Name's James is having a strong.
All right. On that note, thank you all again for listening to our podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, share, and leave a 5-star rating on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Always More Pod. Justin, where can we find you?
Oh, I am everywhere at Justin is Theory. Also back on PC. So, if y'all want to
Yeah.
game again, yeah, sure. Hit me
He's
up.
a gamer girl.
Harley,
sir.
where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at WhatHarley, Harley, and TikTok, the clock app, at harleybean.co.
Christopher?
You can find me on TikTok at Christopher.Lionheart. I also have an Instagram, but don't try to message me there. I will not respond. Captain_CT Ford.
And then you can find me on pretty much everything at Timothy Lichty. It's Liechty. Thank you all again for listening and for being a part of the conversation. And remember, there is always more than this. Bye, everyone.
Okay, bye.